Now we are going to jump to a completely different section of the Ashtadhyayi, the section of Tadhitaha. Sutram is 4176. Tadhitaha. Vritti says, Apanchama samapte radhikaroyam. Apanchama samaptehe adhikaraha ayam. This is adhikara sutram, a governing rule which governs the section from this sutram all the way down to the end of the 5th chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. So the affixes which are prescribed by the rules in this section get the designation tadhita. So they are called tadhitaha pratyayaha. We know what a governing rule is. It's the rule which sets the topic, the subject matter for the rules which follow. This is a very large adhikara. It contains about 1000 rules. About 25% of the entire Ashtadhyayi is within this adhikara. Before we go ahead, why are we jumping to the topic of tadhitaha already? We haven't yet completed the topic of compounds. We're going to take up this topic of tadhitaha after we finish the topic of compounds. So why are we jumping here prematurely? The reason is that within this adhikara of tadhitaha, there is another adhikara of samasantaha, which starts from 5468 and also goes to the end of the 5th chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. We need to use those affixes when we construct compounds. And since the adhikara of samasantaha is contained inside the adhikara of tadhitaha, we are introducing the adhikara of tadhitaha, even though that's not the main topic right now. Right now we are studying the samasa prakaranam. But we do need the samasantaha pratyayaha, which come inside the adhikara of tadhitaha. The note here says that the adhikara of tadhitaha, which starts from this Sutram 4176, is contained within the adhikara of 411 Pratipadika, which itself is contained within the adhikara of 311 Pratyayaha and 312 Parascha. All these three adhikara end at the end of the 5th chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. So even though the adhikara of tadhitaha is large, as already mentioned, it contains about 1/4 of the entire Ashtadhyayi. It is not the largest adhikara in the Ashtadhyayi. It is contained inside the adhikara of 411 Pratipadika, which we are familiar with, which itself is contained inside the adhikara of Pratyayaha and Parascha 311, 312. That adhikara of Pratyayaha and Parascha also runs up to the end of the 5th chapter of the Ashtadhyayi, and that is the biggest adhikara in the Ashtadhyayi. The next note here says that the commentators explain the term tadhitaha as follows. Tebhyaha, meaning prayogebhyaha hitaha tadhitaha. Of course, we know the sandhikaryam here. The letter ha has taken the substitution dha as per the sutram 8462. Jayoho nyatarasyam. So, tadhitaha affixes are the ones which are useful, hitaha, in deriving shishta prayogaha, meaning word forms that are used by scholars. So, tebhyaha shishta prayogebhyaha hitaha. They help us in explaining the usages of the scholars.